Today we're going to be talking about working at a hagwon versus working at a public elementary school for EPIK. So Sean, what is a hagwon?
Hagwon just means academy, kind of like an after-school private program for kids to go to after they're done their public school to continue their education. Very popular in Korea.
Just for the Brits out there, it's not public school in the British sense, it's actually just a comprehensive school. A public school in the UK is a private school, like a fee-paying school.
Oh.
But I digress. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to decide if you want to work at a hagwon or a public elementary school.
I had to get to work by 12 and I finished at 8. So it was an 8-hour working day and we would start around like 1-ish.
I think with some other hagwons, you can have split shifts, can't you? Because you can work in the morning and then have the afternoon off and then have to go in again in the evening. So you might want to check the contract before signing it.
That's something I definitely would not want to do. I wouldn't want to like work then take a break for 4 hours and go back to work.
So I would teach just in the mornings, really. I would have lessons from about 8 or 9 o'clock until 12 o'clock. And then from 12 o'clock to 4 or 5 o'clock, I would just be desk forming, which is just sitting at your desk with nothing to do. It was the same lesson as well for one day. So I'd have one lesson I would teach 4 times every day.
You get better at it as it went along.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I was teaching that last class, it was home to perfection.
Yeah.
I had 30 students in each class. It was difficult to have the same kind of relationship you have with the students in a hagwon. So in a hagwon, you get to know your students quite well.
It's very true.
You know all their names. Whereas in the elementary school, I didn't have a register ever. So it was really difficult for me to learn their names. I felt a little bit distant, really.
That's a really good point. I would say that's definitely a positive for hagwon is you get to really know your students.
Yes.
And
definitely.
some of the classes have like 4 or 5 kids in it.
That's right.
So you can play certain games with the kids. English games that are like easy for 4 or 5 people. I made like 2.1, 2.2, and then I got free housing.
Yeah, I think it was the same. I got 2.2, free housing, flights. Did you get flights paid for?
Yep, severance pay.
Yeah, health insurance.
Yes.
That's a good point for both. It's a pretty decent package, especially if you've just come out of university.
Yeah, not bad at all. Okay, so this is gonna be one of my bad parts about the hagwon. It's really hard to take a vacation because if you take a vacation, someone has to cover your shift.
It's like a perfect way to guilt trip you. If you take this holiday off, this teacher is going to have to cover for you and he's going to have a shit time.
Yeah, and it's really hard to take sick days off too. So like if I'm really sick, I either got to just come in or like just say, okay, I'm sorry, I'm really sick. But then they're like, all right, you can rest. But then that's going to eat into your vacation time too. They say you get 10 days, but you don't really get 10 days. You get like 3 days.
Did you get the public holidays off? Or not?
I did.
So with EPIK, you get the public holidays off and you get 10 days off in, I think, summer and then 8 days off or 10 days off in winter. When you think about it, it's not 10 days off in a row. It's like 5 days, weekend, 5 days. So really it's like 14 days. It's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you have like a money hungry, crazy owner who just cares about getting students and money, they're gonna treat you like terribly. And the problem is because the hagwon sponsors your visa.
Yeah.
So they kind of got you by the balls. Can I say that?
Yeah. You can swear in front of this audience.
All right.
They know a lot of bad words.
I was lucky, but this is where the horror stories come in. The bad owners.
Right.
However, you don't have to worry about that with EPIK because it's a government-run thing.
Very safe.
Yes, but it's a for-profit business, hagwons. So you have to remember that.
It's probably good to look at online reviews before applying to a hagwon because there are some very dodgy hagwons out there, right? So be careful.
You might want to check the reviews of hagwons on this website. If you want something edgy and dangerous, choose the blacklist. For something safe and enjoyable, go for the green list. I've put the link in the description.
You have to do a lot of desk warming if you're an EPIK teacher. Even if you're not teaching, even if you have nothing to do, you are obligated to just sit behind your desk and just look like you're busy. It's not an entirely bad thing because you can use that time productively.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of thought of it as like they're paying me to do whatever I want for 4 hours, which is pretty nice. You might be tempted to fall down the rabbit hole of watching lots of cat videos on YouTube, which I certainly did as well.
Did that for the first 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
I'm wasting my life.
Yeah.
Start studying Korean. Yeah.
But I mean, getting paid to watch cat videos, that's not bad. One chapter was, touch here please, and another one was, wow, it's big. And
Your American accent's really good.
Oh, thanks. I learned from the best textbook in town. The characters in the textbooks were really bizarre. I remember this character called Bobo. It looked like a turd that was on his head. He would do these really weird things, like he gave one of his friends a birthday present, and inside the birthday present was Bobo's head on a spring. Like he was some kind of serial killer.
Weird.
Who just kills his clone. How about the textbooks in HAGWONS?
They were fine. I had no problem with them because they use the same textbooks over and over and over, and all the English teachers take a look at them, they use them. If there's anything weird, they pretty much take it out.
In HAGWONS they use professional textbooks, right?
Yeah, made by companies.
Right, whereas in EPIK they generally use textbooks that are just made for those schools.
Oh.
So I think that's why they're
Our textbooks are good.
Hopefully after this video you can now decide whether you want to work at a HAGWON or an EPIK school. And please check out Sean's channel.
I make videos about like cultural and linguistic differences with the US and some American and Korea, but also other countries around the world as well. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, I do a lot of street interviews, vlogs, and just philosophical debate type videos. Check me out. Yeah, you can see the link down below. But yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.